No! Well, that was my kind of a reenactment I did of my response to getting the text message tweet. I get all of Narnia Web's tweets instantly on my mobile, and well, uh, that was recorded just a little bit afterwards. I'm really confused by this whole thing. First of all, okay, we don't know why Bill Nighy is taking over the role of as Eddie Izzard. Uh, Part of it's because, well, we don't. It probably wasn't money because I think Nighy's he's a pretty well-known actor, pretty good actor. I'll say that up front. I think Nighy's a good actor, but so maybe it was a scheduling issue. I don't know, but the thing is, I think I'm just so disheartened by the whole thing that uh, all of this has come about. I think part of it, yeah, some people have brought up the consistency issue. Okay, yeah, that's a genuine issue. But here's the thing: it's not just the consistency. I think that Eddie Izzard added such a great gusto and energy to the role, and he really took the character from the book and not reinvented it, but really added a life for the film. You don't take a book and then just port it, to use programming terms. You have to tell the story in this new medium. And I think you almost have to do the same thing with the characters. It doesn't mean you have to really deliberately try to change them or reinvent them or say, well, that doesn't work, but you give it a life of its own for the film. You look at the really great films. I think Ian McKellen did a fantastic job as Gandalf in The Lord of the Rings. Is it exactly like he was in the book? Well, there's going to be different interpretations for one thing, but he created a Gandalf that was faithful to the image and spirit and character in the book, and he did a great job of it. And I think Eddie Izzard did the same thing with Reepicheep. But here's the thing. You see, Eddie Izzard did such a fantastic job that, it's not that I hate Bill Nighy. That's not it at all. He did a great job in Pirates of the Caribbean, did a great job in Underworld. I think his voice is decent, maybe a little deeper than I would like for the mouse, but and he's a good actor. That's not it. It's that Eddie Izzard did such a wonderful job. Now, there's some Narnia Webbers. This is what's really confusing. There's a poll on Narnia Web. This is shocking to me. I think right now, uh, the options are, Will Nighy will be replacing Eddie Izzard as the voice of the fan favorite Reepicheep. How do you feel about this right now? Okay, I voted very disappointed. 23% say very disappointed. 30% say not so good. 38% say pretty good. And 9% say thrilled. I mean, okay, so there's more people on the bottom end of the spectrum than at the very top, but there's more people at the upper middle than there are at the lower middle. It's really weird. I thought people liked Eddie Izzard as Reepicheep. This is one of the things that when we saw Voyage of the Prince Caspian, I thought, okay, well, maybe they didn't like this. Maybe I didn't like this. Maybe should have been done differently. Maybe I didn't like what they did with Peter's character. But Reepicheep is set. They're golden for Voyage of the Dawn Treader as far as my second favorite character in the whole series. And now I'm completely starting all over. I'm thinking, well, what is Bill Nighy going to do with the character? Is he going to have to, play, kind of recreate? Okay, well, Eddie Izzard did his thing, and now I'm going to do my thing. Am I even going to like it? I'm not even as excited about about not Bill Nighy as I was about Eddie Izzard. Yeah, I know he was a comedian and all that, but I thought, this guy. You listen to his stuff. I thought comedians often actually make pretty good actors. I mean, because if they're doing the kind of things that he did, where they are doing these different voices, telling out these little narratives and monologues, I was excited about Eddie Izzard, and now my expectations for the film have dropped even lower. Here's one Narnia Weber. I couldn't believe it. I think this person sums up a lot of things. This person says, after going over the initial shock, well, this is to summarize. They say they're not too unhappy about it, that they never really liked Eddie Izzard's interpretation of Reepicheep and Prince Caspian. This person says it lacked the charm and dignity of Reepicheep in the book and had turned a very noble, very stout-hearted hero into a bloodthirsty comedic relief. And then they say, well, I'm just thinking, come on, people. I mean, you're saying that Reepicheep wasn't dignified in the Prince Caspian? I think Eddie Izzard did all those wonderful things from the book. He was noble. He was stout-hearted, very stout-hearted. That was easy to see. He did have dignity. I mean, just look at the little scene between him and Peter and Lucy. I mean, he does a very good job with all that. I don't understand. It just doesn't seem grounded at all to say that. I'm sorry. It just because I don't see where the justification comes in. Do I see nobility? Yes, I see a lot of nobility. I see the pride. The character had pride in the story. I mean, they even had the bond between the different mice and their shared nobility for each other and love for each other. I just don't see that. And as far as comic relief, Reepicheep was hilarious in the books. I mean, next to Puddleglum, he's probably the funniest single character in the whole Narnian Chronicles. And furthermore, as for Bloodthirsty, I'm sorry, they were always trying to hold Reepicheep back from the fight. I mean, this is a line from Voyage of the Dawn Treader. They mention a pirate ship that attacked them, and before the Pevensies and Eustace arrived, and Reepicheep says, "And we ought to have given her chase and boarded her and hanged every mother's son of them." I'm thinking, I'm sorry. As far as Bloodthirsty, call it what you will. Reepicheep, you might call him bloodthirsty in the book. You might call him bloodthirsty in the films. I wouldn't probably choose those words. I'd say zealous for battle and glory, which he certainly was in the books, and I think he was in the film as well with Eddie Izzard. And furthermore, keep in mind, the key point, people, Eddie Izzard wasn't writing all the dialogue, all right? Eddie Izzard was doing the voice. I'm not sure what so we're talking about the performance, not how they wrote the character, because he's not the entire author of the character. So it's not like you're going to get a different set of dialogue with Bill Nighy necessarily, unless he carries more clout and he decides, no, I want you to write it this way. My point is, I think Eddie Izzard did a fantastic job, and now I feel like my expectations are lower. Doesn't mean that I think it's going to be bad. This is not necessarily bad news, but it's very possibly bad news. Now I don't, because I was very excited about Eddie Izzard, and now I don't have any real excitement over Bill Nighy. Yeah, he's a good actor, but that's the meeting the bare minimum standard. I want a good actor, okay? So I'm very disappointed. I'm sorry, but we'll have to come what may, and we'll see what happens. Again, this is bad news. I'm sorry. There's no other way I can shade it. This is recorded Saturday, and the news came out Thursday. I have calmed down, certainly, but I am no less disappointed at this point. So that's all I have for now. I'll talk with you all again at some point. And this is Rillian, over and out.